Lonely Space Vixen.
Hello guys, it's JFM here, and I have a new video for you. I'm going to answer those questions that you've asked like a month ago. So, here I am. I know I said in the video that I was going to answer them in my Jeff and Taylor comic channel, but since all the questions are like, I don't know, uh, general questions about cartooning and general questions about me, then I'm just gonna upload this into my JFM Studio channel. I'll upload another Q&A type like video for Jeff and Taylor comic, and the questions there I want them to be specifically for the comic Jeff and Taylor, because that's what the channel is intended for. So, here we go. I'm gonna answer those questions that you've been waiting for. Alright. JT Rules 091 has asked, okay, I have a few questions. How long does it take to make one comic page? And, well, to answer that question, well, he has two, but to answer that question, it takes me, if I'm in a very progressive state of mind, then it would take me, from the penciling to the final coloring, it can take me about 2 to 3 hours. One page, from blank page all the way to penciling, inking, scanning into computer, typing, printing, and coloring. So yeah, it can take me about 2 to 3 hours. And he asked, how can I make my characters look better? As in, his characters. Just keep practicing and look at other cartoon characters, other art styles, and see how that they can influence your style. That's what I kind of did. With I watched different anime shows, different cartoon shows, and see their facial expressions, how their noses, their eyes, and see how I can kind of get an idea on how to construct my characters to be good looking. Alright, okay. Oh, and by the way, I'm your biggest JFM maholic. Well, thank you. Okay. Nick and Josh Studios have asked, how do you make up new characters? Oh, that's a tough one, because it depends on the person. I mean, to me, I just go on a sketchbook and randomly sketch up people. I just add different hair, different noses, different eyes, just to experiment and to see how they look. And that's how I make up a new character. Either they can be a background character or a minor character in a series. And that's how I generally make them up. Okay, Eddie Grill she has asked two questions. How do you write your scripts? Like, how do you know what they should say and make it flow? And I practice drawing my characters every day. How can I make them look basically the same from panel to panel? Alright. Well, to answer your first questions about the scripts, how do you know what they should say and make it flow? Well, generally, before writing the script, I make I make notes on what I want in the story. Basically in the order that that the story is going, and I gotta say, when I'm actually typing up the script in my laptop, it is kind of challenging to think about what exactly the characters would say, because I would have to, in Jeff and Taylor, I have to make the story make sense. I have to make it flow. I have to make a problem and a conclusion. Make the whole story go full circle. Make sure there's no plot holes, and make it funny. And I also have to make sure that what the characters say is something that they would actually say. Something that's in their character. So yeah, writing can be challenging. And I do admit, sometimes I just stare at the screen for a good 15 minutes before I actually get to know what they say. But I usually just think of stuff before writing the notes down, and yeah, and writing the notes is helpful just in case you forget. So yeah, hopefully that work. Hopefully that answers your question. Okay, and to answer the second question, how do you make your characters look the same panel to panel? Well, yeah, you have a base on how a character is constructed. You just gotta remember those those bases, I guess. Like you gotta remember how to construct their hair and their eyes and their clothing. Yeah, you gotta remember all that. Like for example, if when I draw Blue, I always remember her lines in her hair. I always remember there's like one going up the middle, then the second pair goes to they go outside of her I forgot. Well, she has a certain number of lines in her hair. I'll just say that, and I just gotta remember to add those, the same number of hairs. Oh boy, am I not thinking right? Okay, sorry guys. I just kind of woke up, so I'm just gonna answer as fast as I can. But yeah, just keep practicing on how you draw how you draw those characters, and yeah. Well, here's a better example. With Jeff's hat, there are 5 buttons on his baseball cap, and I always remember that there are 5 buttons, always. Same with David's buttons on his shirt. There's 5 buttons on his shirt, so there. Doesn't necessarily have to be 5, or just remember those details on those characters. All right. Magikarp? Yeah. Magikarp has asked, where or how do you get your inspiration and ideas for comics? Well, I just get my inspirations at practically anywhere. TV, video games, people, books, life experiences. So yeah, just use all of those, and make sure you use different types of inspirations and references. Like for Jeff and Taylor, of course I have the comedy like Kenan and Kel, but I also take ideas from other my favorite shows and video games like Resident Evil, or Goosebumps, or what's in the show? A Case Closed. Yeah. And another question that Magikarp has asked: what episode are you working on at the moment, and how many have you done already? Also, how long does it take to make one 50-page comic? Well, I'm currently working on episode 8, which will be released on August. And how many have you done already? Well, yeah, I've done 7 episodes. Well, I guess you can say 10 comics already, because 1, 2, and 3 have been remade. So yeah, episodes 1, 2, and 3 have originals and remakes. So it's like 10 comics. And also, how long does it take to make a 50-page comic? I don't know. I haven't really calculated that much. But oh, excuse me. Gosh, it is so unprofessional of me to yawn. Okay. It can take me about under a month to make one 50-page comic, if I really focus on it. Like completing 10 pages a week. Just about. Yeah, finishing 10 pages a week. That's a lot. Yeah, and that can be done in like about a month. Alright, next question is from Sandwich Productions. She has asked, how do you make a calendar? Well, I just make 13 images, one being the cover, and I construct them on Lulu.com. Also, how would you plan your schedule? Well, I really don't have a schedule. I just do things whenever I feel like them, I guess. But I really want to be more organized as soon as I have, a stable uh, life, I guess. But here's what I would do if I were to have a very strict schedule. Um, Monday and Tuesday, I work on the episodes, on the comics, on 50-page comics. Wednesdays, I draw some promotional artwork. Thursdays, I draw. Oh wait. I think Thursdays I continue on the episodes. Fridays I work on the strips. Saturdays I work on videos, and Sundays I draw some random pictures. Some normal artwork. How do you draw perfect glasses? By perfect glasses, I think you mean perfect circle glasses, like Jeff and Jennifer. Yeah, their glasses. If I really want to make them look good, then I use one of those stencils for those, the circle stencils. But I usually just draw the circle by freehand. Doesn't necessarily have to be very perfect, but I just draw them. That's what I do. I just draw the circle by hand. And how do you copyright characters? Well, that is kind of a tricky question, because I don't think you can necessarily copyright characters themselves, but you can copyright a story, or you can copyright the comic itself for its story and its artwork, and I guess the characters are somewhat put into that, because when I copyrighted my episodes through the U.S. government online, then yeah, I guess all the story and the characters and everything gets copyrighted too. Because if you want to if you want to copyright a character, then basically drawing them in your own picture and actually publishing it. Like in DeviantArt, if you draw your original character in DeviantArt, then they have this little thing under there that says copyright by you, because it assumes that it's your character. And if it's your character, then it's yours. If people copies it, if a person copies it, then you have proof right there that it's yours. So I hope that makes sense, because really, you can use a poor man's copyright, which is like making that little copyright symbol, the year and your name, just to let people know that it's yours. Yeah, that's the poor man's. I just go the safe route and actually do the official way, through the government. Okay, Lance Danger has asked, do you prefer full scripts or the old Marvel way of writing, which is doing the plot, draw the pages based on those plots, and then do the dialogue? I have done the Marvel way of writing, which is doing the plot and all that, before, and it is kind of challenging. I kind of prefer to do my own scripts, doing the way I like it, doing my own way. But I have done the Marvel way. Basically, when I redid episode 3, I actually did that. I had no script. I just draw the pages out. I outline the pages in my head and through notes, and I actually made up the dialogue as I went along. And surprisingly enough, it actually fit within the story, and I'm kind of proud of myself. Okay. Oh boy. Harvest and Trademark. You have asked, how do you color and shade, and how do you create depth and good angles and panels? Okay, how do you color and shade? Well, that's a pretty broad question. I guess you mean with my Prismacolor markers? Well, I just do the layering technique, but I had to do a lot of trial and error on how I do that, how I perfected that technique, and how I made it my own. So basically, just experiment and see what style of color and shading fits you. And also, when I color and shade with my strips on the computer, I just do the basic flat color with the fill bucket tool, and then I make another layer on Photoshop, with a black brush, make the opacity of that layer very light, and I just shade in my characters with that black brush, with the opacity down, because it's not fully black, it's just lightly black, if that makes sense. And how do I create depth and good angles? Usually when I pay attention when I read comics, I pay attention to how the author or the artist draws the angles, and I try to get a sense of how they do that. So yeah. There's another yawn. Oh boy. Okay. How do you get... excuse me. Samba Art Production has asked, how do you get over art and writing block? That is challenging. Usually when you get inspired by something, but in a very... in the fast-paced world of cartooning, you have deadlines, and basically you don't have the whole... you don't have your whole life to actually think of... or have inspirations, so you gotta really think, and basically, some people can get over it more than others, the art and writing block, but yeah, that's a challenging. Just inspire yourself and actually think of your comic, wherever you go, and think and get ideas. All right. Well, Carlos Mares, I think he has asked, Skyward Sword or Final Fantasy 13-2? Which do you think is better? Well, both games are very different, but right now I'm kind of into more with Skyward Sword, Zelda Skyward Sword. I just got done with the most epic boss ever. It's that, I hope I'm not spoiling things, but this boss isn't really part of the main plot, I guess. It's not giving away the story too much, but it's the boss with the, it's, the golden boss with all those arms and swords. It's basically the fourth boss. It's the boss in the fourth temple in the game, and yeah, that is the most epic boss I've played, or I've fought in a Zelda game ever. So it's awesome. Okay, Heartwork has asked, one of your 50-page comics is roughly how many pages worth of script? I'm gonna say 19 to 20 pages of script. Generally, that I'm working on Microsoft Word when I type, and I type in a 12-point font. So yeah, that is about 19 or 20 pages. Oh boy, reviews games. He has 5 questions. Okay. Okay, the first one. I am really not a great artist, but a good story writer. Is there any chance you could give us a full tutorial, like characters, backgrounds, and supplies we may need? I know it's something you can't really answer in one video. Well, I'll try. Is there any chance I'll give a full tutorial? Maybe. In this channel, I can give tutorials on characters and backgrounds. And supplies. Well, art supplies, you really don't need the most professional equipment. Even professional cartoonists can, or professional artists in general, can make great artwork with supplies that they say what people can say kids use, like Crayola markers and Crayola crayons. It's been a long time since I used crayons, but I bet I can do some good coloring with those. 2. How do you do good proportioning? I guess with the characters. Whoops. Proportioning is very challenging, considering how you have to make the characters' eyes look even, and their arms. Basically, just take some anatomy classes, look at some anatomy books, and practice. How do I make them look the same in every panel? Well, I just answered that question with Eddie Grill. And yeah. I'm sorry, I'm thinking. yeah, make them look the same in every panel. Just keep practicing and keep remembering your little details on your characters. How do I write the script to match a character's personality? Well, you gotta remember your character's personality. I'm sorry to talk about myself. I'm sorry if this answer is a bit too pretentious, I guess. But whenever I have over about 400 characters that I've made up, and it's kind of challenging to know each and their personalities, especially since they belong in different comics and different stories. So one character's personality may match another, and writing the script, well, it can depend on the story genre itself, and I'm not making sense right now. Okay, well, how do I write the script? Well, you just gotta remember your character's personality. Like, you just gotta write notes about them. Write notes and make character description videos and just remember them. Because yeah, it can be hard to remember each character, and some people have a gift for it and some people don't. Basically, if you really doubt yourself with remembering characters' personality, just make. I highly recommend making a comic with very few characters. So there you go. I'm just the type of guy who likes to make a lot of characters per story. Like whenever I write a new comic, a new project, I like to make sure that there's a minimum of 20 main characters. A minimum of 20. Yeah. I'm insane, I'm sorry. And the fifth question, how do I color and shade? Well, I just answered that question with Harvest and trademark. Harvest and Network? What the hell? Harvest and trademark. Okay. And the last question, Memeticalover 1. Just 2 questions. Shading. Oh my glob, shading. How can you tell where the shadows should be and where the highlights should be? I know some, but it's not very good. Okay, well, generally when I shade a character, I always make sure the light. For some reason, I make the light source go from. The light source is from the light source is from the upper right corner, and it's shining down towards them, or the light comes from the right. So I shade. I make sure the dark spots or the dark parts are from. I shade the left side of the characters, and yeah, you got to get a good sense of the thinking your characters in a 3D sense, and you just got to keep practicing. I know that's the answer for everything. Keep on practicing. You know what they say. Well, I was going to say practice makes perfect, but that's not really the case. You got to practice in a good way in order to get better. Because if you practice in a very terrible way, if I practice 2 + 2 = 5, then that's not really perfect, is it? Okay, we'll just keep practicing. Okay, wrinkles in clothing. How do I make good judgment on where they should go? And how do you draw those wrinkles? Well, you could you could practice by doing some still lifes, like get a T-shirt or draw the wrinkles on drapes or on bed or a person's clothes. Study how those wrinkles flow. Yeah, basically just still lives. Keep those comics going. You're super awesome. Thank you. Okay, well, that's it. I'm going to upload practically almost 25 minutes of all this. Oh, boy. Well, I hope you guys learned from those answers, and if you have more questions, I'll be happy to answer them. So, yeah. JFM Studio. You can you can ask me any question you like. Yeah. As long as it's not too personal. And yeah, there you have it. Alright, guys, JFM out.